Okay, so still using these same functions right here. If I ask you to evaluate g minus f of negative 5, what does that mean? Well, if you look at what we had written before, that means we need to evaluate g of negative 5, and then we're going to subtract. Anybody? F of negative 5. Isn't that what that means? When I get the minus sign here, that means you're going to take your function g minus your function f, but you're going to evaluate each of those at negative 5. Is that okay? So then here's what we do. We're going to do our little thought bubble over here on the side where we have our work. So, g of negative 5 means what? That means 2 times x squared minus x. Do you all agree? So what do you get here? That's 25 when you square that. Times 2 is 50 plus 5 is 55. Do you all agree? Okay. No, g is not 55. G of negative 5 is 55. Now you have to figure out what is f of negative 5. Well, here's my function f. 3 times negative 5 plus 2, right? And so that gives me negative 15 plus 2, which equals negative 13. Do you all agree? Yes. Now, you've got to be very careful in this problem. G of negative 5 minus f of negative 5. What's g of negative 5? 55. And what was f of negative 5? So notice that the minus here is because we were subtracting these functions. That's what it said. That's what I gave you. So when you work this out, so that's 55. This becomes a plus 13. And we end up with a positive 68 when it's all said and done. Questions about that?
So when you give us a problem, all that's going to be given, the top portion.
What you're going to see for problems that I give you is I'm going to give you functions at the top of a page. I'm just going to give you a bunch of things below that says, you know, f of 1, g of 5, f of 2/3, where you just have to make sure that you plug it into the appropriate function, match up those names, plug it in and do the work. That's all you have to do.
So I don't have to memorize all these different functions?
No, this is just an example of f, g, and h. Tomorrow, you'll see a different f of x I'm going to give you in terms of graphing. F of x equals this guy. So each time you see f of x, it's for that particular problem alone. So the next time you see, like on the next page, you see f of x as something else, then you work with that f of x for those problems.
So as long as we know how to evaluate.
As long as you know how to plug in, plug and chug, then you're in good shape.